Can you lose fat without starving? Look, it is the ultimate question, isn't it? I mean, we've all been there, staring down the barrel of some super strict diet, just absolutely dreading the misery of starvation and mourning the loss of our favorite foods before we even begin. But what if I told you that the key to reaching your goals actually isn't about eating less? It's about eating smart, all while keeping the foods you grew up loving right there on your plate. Well, diving into the source material today, the answer is a resounding yes. Welcome to this explainer. I am so thrilled to dig into this topic today because we are uncovering a highly practical approach directly from our source material. We're looking at a completely simple and sustainable Indian fat loss plan. So instead of the usual gimmicks or, magic pills, we're going to explore a beautifully structured, culturally familiar approach to food and movement that you can actually stick to for the rest of your life. All right, here is our agenda for this explainer. First up, the sustainable fat loss goal. Second, mastering your meal timing. Third, the Indian diet blueprint. Fourth, workouts without a gym. And finally, the mindset for lifelong habits. Kicking things off with Section 1, the sustainable fat loss goal. And yes, absolutely no starvation required. Think about those extreme diets for just a second, right? It's all starving, skipping your favorite foods, following these incredibly rigid rules, and honestly, mourning the loss of your sanity by day 5. It's overwhelming, it's frantic, and let's be real, it almost never lasts. But a sustainable plan? That is totally different. It's calm. It actually relies on familiar Indian foods. It's about eating what you love in the right proportions and building habits that just fit seamlessly into your existing daily routine rather than turning your whole life completely upside down. Because ultimately, the goal outlined in this material isn't just watching some fluctuating number on a bathroom scale go down. The real target is to lose fat, naturally boost your daily energy levels, and build habits you can actually maintain forever. When you focus on upgrading how you feel, like having the energy to play with your kids or just totally crush your workday, the fat loss simply becomes this fantastic byproduct of your new lifestyle. Moving right along to Section 2, master your meal timing. We're talking 3 meals plus 1 snack. Okay, so before we even talk about what actually goes on the plate, getting your fueling schedule dialed in is critical. Step 1 is sticking to 3 main meals, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Step 2, and this is kind of where the magic happens, is waiting 4 to 6 hours between those meals. And step 3 is avoiding that late night overeating. That 4 to 6 hour gap, it matters immensely. It creates this structured window that gives your digestive system a much-needed break. It completely prevents that mindless constant snacking that sneaks hundreds of hidden calories into your day, which optimizes your internal environment for fat loss rather than fat storage. Which brings us to Section 3, the Indian diet blueprint, fueling your body with familiar foods. Let's dive right into breakfast. And spoiler alert, these options totally shatter that old myth that you have to eat bland, boiled chicken and broccoli to get fit. These all land perfectly between 300 to 400 calories. So whether you choose a classic like 2 boiled eggs with multigrain toast and a piece of fruit, a comforting cup of vegetable upma or poha with some curd, a couple of moong dal chillas with green chutney, or even just some Greek yogurt with a banana and almonds, you are getting a highly familiar, nutrient-packed start to your day. Now for lunch, hitting that 400 to 500 calorie sweet spot. And you really don't have to sacrifice flavor at all here. Imagine sitting down to a cup of brown rice or a couple of fulkas with a cup of dal, some sabzi, and a fresh salad. Or maybe some quinoa or millet khichdi with curd. Even grilled paneer or chicken tikka with sautéed veggies and a roti works perfectly. You're covering all your nutritional bases while enjoying really satisfying traditional staples. Eating what you genuinely enjoy is exactly why this doesn't feel like a diet at all. You don't feel deprived because, well, you aren't deprived. Okay, moving on to dinner. The rule of thumb here is simple. Keep it light but protein-rich. You could whip up 2 whole wheat egg burji wraps with a side salad, or enjoy some palak paneer with a roti and sautéed veggies. A grilled tofu or paneer stir-fry with some soup is great too. Actually, even a delicious chicken curry, just prepared with a bit less oil, fits in perfectly when paired with a roti and salad. By highlighting protein and keeping things relatively light, these dinners help prepare your muscles overnight while ensuring you wake up feeling totally refreshed instead of sluggish. Now, you might be wondering about snacks. It's really interesting to note that snacks are entirely optional in this plan. But hey, if you do need a bridge between those main meals, reaching for a handful of roasted chana or makhana, a boiled egg, or some fruit with green tea,
or a refreshing glass of buttermilk or lemon water keeps you right on track without breaking the calorie bank. If you're working out, a protein shake is a great option too. It's really just about listening to your body and fueling it purposefully when you genuinely need it.
All right, on to section 4, workouts without a gym, getting movement right in your living room. What's honestly so refreshing about this approach is the actual target, just 3 to 4 workout sessions a week, plus your basic daily movements. It turns out building sustainable fitness is all about getting the blood flowing and building strength efficiently. It is definitely not about spending 2 grueling hours in a squat rack every single day. When you actually map this out across a week, it becomes incredibly doable. You just interleaf short bodyweight workouts on days like Monday, Thursday, and Saturday, with active recovery like walking, stretching, yoga, or even some Zumba on the other days. You're simply integrating movement into your week organically. This completely removes the barrier of an expensive gym membership or some long, exhausting daily commute. And for those bodyweight days, a 20 to 25-minute home circuit is literally all you need. Combining 10 squats, 10 wall or incline push-ups, 10 glute bridges, a 20-second plank, and 15 jumping jacks for just 2 to 3 rounds builds real, functional strength. And notice, there isn't a single dumbbell in sight. You can literally knock this out right in your living room while watching TV. Just take a 1-minute rest between rounds and you're golden. Finally, we hit section 5, mindset for lifelong habits. This is all about consistency over perfection. 80%. Honestly, this might just be the best news of the entire explainer. You only need to be consistent 80% of the time to see fantastic results. Just let that pressure of absolute perfection go. If you slip up and have a piece of cake at a birthday party, you haven't failed the whole program. No way. You just get right back on track for the very next meal. 80% consistency is the absolute sweet spot for lifelong success without losing your sanity in the process. The material lays out a few key mindset tips to keep you right in that 80% zone. First up, don't chase perfection. Aim for consistency. Next, try tracking your progress weekly rather than daily. That really helps avoid that unnecessary morning scale stress. Instead, it suggests focusing on metrics like your daily energy, how your clothes fit, and your newfound strength during those home workouts. And crucially, when you do well, reward yourself with non-food items. Carve out an hour of pure self-care time, buy a new book, or maybe download some new music. Which leaves us with one final and, honestly, pretty fun question to think about. What non-food reward will you treat yourself to when you hit your first milestone? Really think about it. Visualize it. You've got the blueprint drawn straight from our source material. You have the familiar, incredibly satisfying meals. You have the 20-minute living room workouts, and now you have the mindset of consistency over perfection. The only thing left to do? Take that very first step today.